Massive Steelers free agency update report reveals wild details as the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to make some major changes on their offense. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be breaking down the latest Pittsburgh Steelers reports and analysis regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers football team. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a ton of question marks regarding obviously the quarterback position and that wide receiver position this offseason. We have looked to get some answers in these latest reports. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Only 13.1% of our current viewers are actually currently subscribed, and we are trying to get to that 3,000 subscriber mark. But obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we've had a lot of different questions regarding that quarterback, that wide receiver position, and some other positions on the offense this offseason. And, Steelers reporter Noah Strackbein has gave us some major updates just regarding that wide receiver 2 position, as well as, an update regarding Will Heyward and his availability as we do head into week 1 of the season. But let's get right into it. Some major talking points that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had this offseason is that quarterback and wide receiver 2 position. This really was kind of Groundhog Day situation. We went through the same thing last offseason. A lot of question marks regarding that quarterback position. We had Russell Wilson, we had Justin Fields, and, same thing regarding that wide receiver 2 position last year. We had a cleared wide receiver 1 last year in George Pickens, but we were still trying to figure out who's going to step up and be that wide receiver number 2 position alongside him. We had guys like Roman Wilson. Obviously, he was a rookie. We had Calvin Austin, an emerging number 2 guy who just had some trouble staying on the field and has had some trouble just really developing into that wide receiver 2 position. But obviously, last year showed a lot of flashes and has shown he could be a wide receiver in this league with a lot of talent, but it really remains to be seen whether he is a clear wide receiver number 2 or he is kind of that slot gadget guy the Pittsburgh Steelers can use, running routes across the middle of the field and making dudes miss. But obviously, a guy in Roman Wilson had a lot of upside last year. A lot of people expected him to play week 1. But he was dealing with a ton of injuries all throughout last season, had some trouble picking up the playbook, and, never really saw the field more than, I think, only a few snaps against, it was either the Raiders or the Chargers, and the Steelers shut him down later on in the offseason, kind of just let him heal up and, get better for this season as he does look to head into his second year. Roman Wilson, though, he is a guy I do think can develop very well in the second year if he does obviously stay healthy. He is a guy that coming out of Michigan had a lot of talent, showed a lot of flashes, and, alongside Aaron Rodgers, I really think this guy can develop into that wide receiver number 2. Aaron Rodgers has spoken very highly of Roman Wilson. He has said that, I'm going to be very hard on Roman. I know he's got a lot of potential, so I'm going to expect the best from him. I'm going to expect him to make these plays, but he's got to do it himself. It all starts with him. And I do think Roman Wilson will step up to the plate. He will step up to the occasion, and he will show that he is worthy of that wide receiver number 2 position. If we do look at, the plays he did make this preseason, he had a lot of big catches. We go back to that Buccaneers game. He had a very nice deep catch. Panthers game, same thing. Had a really cool deep catch. Had some great passes across the middle. But obviously, preseason is preseason. It's practice football. It's JV football. It's not the real thing. But it is great that Roman Wilson has shown he is available and he is capable and he does know the playbook. So I think he is probably the clearest guy to be that wide receiver 2 position, as the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably just going to look to go in-house as we do move forward this offseason. But Noah Strackbein in his article did state that obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers have searched all summer for a wide receiver option to join DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson. So far, they've really had no luck, and obviously with the regular season starting in a few days, they are probably done looking. The Pittsburgh Steelers have done their due diligence, have explored a ton of different options, going back. We did try to get some of those 49ers receivers that were available, obviously Deebo Samuel, Jennings, and Brandon Ayuk. That fell through, was never able to acquire any of those guys. Kind of was a tease since last season with Ayuk. Tried to explore guys like Gabe Davis, a potential free agent who's coming off of a down season in Jacksonville, dealt with some injuries, couldn't sign him. I think he's dealing with some stuff, some physical stuff still with that injury because Steelers hosted him twice, didn't sign him. He also visited with his former team in the Buffalo Bills, didn't sign a contract. So I think he's still dealing with some stuff. And, as the regular season is upon us, there's really no reason to sign a guy right before the start of the season. If we did actually sign this guy, it'd probably be maybe mid-season or when he is fully healthy. Like I said, no reason to sign the guy if the season is already going to start. And, you already have your guys in-house that have been practicing all offseason, have built their chemistry with A-Rod, and really no reason to bring anybody else in at the moment. Don't want to screw up the chemistry. Another guy that they obviously inquired about was Scary Terry McLaurin. Obviously, trade talks fell through regarding him. There was a report that the Pittsburgh Steelers were offered Terry McLaurin for Pat Freiermuth and a second-round pick. Whether or not those trade talks were real and they were true, Steelers said, nope, we're not getting rid of Muth. He's our hometown guy. We want to keep him on the roster, and I think that was a great decision. Obviously, we did make some tough decisions, sending Minka out of town for guys like Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. So I am happy that the Pittsburgh Steelers, held their ground and kept the hometown dude in Pat Freiermuth on the roster. I think he's obviously our clear number one tight end and should be here for years to come. Another guy the Pittsburgh Steelers could look to develop in that wide receiver 2 position is Calvin Austin. This is a guy that I believe it's his 3rd or 4th year in the league now. Has shown a lot of flashes, has shown some punt return, kick return abilities, had a kick return touchdown, a punt return touchdown against the New York Giants last year. Also has made some pretty tough catches across the middle, as well as some great deep ball catches. If we go back, that regular season game against the Ravens that unfortunately we did lose, this guy did have an insane toe tap catch along the sidelines. So, this guy's also a guy that could be a candidate for that wide receiver 2 position. But I think it's really just going to be up to who steps up and, who really gets around that football more and who Aaron Rodgers pretty much likes more between him and Roman Wilson as we do, try to find a clear wide receiver 2 position in our offense. Is this the right choice? I think pretty much at this point, and what Noah was saying at this point, it's kind of hard to tell. Calvin Austin didn't really play during training camp because of an oblique injury he was dealing with. He didn't play in the preseason. And, although some people may be saying Wilson really didn't impress too much during training camp, but flashed during the preseason, I kind of think he's going to obviously step up as we do head into the regular season. He'll have some more opportunities, and, we'll be able to show that him and Aaron Rodgers are on the same page, and as he is ready to make that next step and that big leap as he does head into the regular season. But another update on Will Howard. Obviously, the Steelers threw him on IR recently, but he was on the Pat McAfee show a few days ago for Ohio State's big game against Texas, which they did win. Congrats to the Buckeyes, but Will Howard did give us an update, and he did say he will be starting to throw in these next couple days. So obviously some big news for us Steelers fans. This guy was unfortunately sidelined all preseason, wasn't able to play in any of those preseason games with a broken hand, but it's always some good news to hear him say that he's going to practice, and obviously this guy is only a 6th round pick. Steelers fans may not really be expecting much from him. But he does have the potential, does have the leadership and that capability to step up and possibly be the future quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, that's all I have for you guys tonight on Steelers Digest. If you guys not already currently subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Here we go, Steelers.